Juul's sleek designs, marketing campaigns, and highly addictive products have given rise to a public health crisis all over the world, with over 3.6 million youth now using e-cigarettes. Marketed under the false narrative of decreasing smoking dependency, more and more research continues to suggest that e-cigarettes do not actually reduce nicotine addiction, but they rewire the teen brain to create more of it.
The apps that have tried to address this addiction have encountered a number of challenges. Firstly, they have no method of tracking a user's real-time consumption and rely on self-reported data, which is often influenced by guilt, denial, or forgetfulness. Secondly, a number of apps are designed for people who have already quit e-cigarettes but offer no assistance to users while they are on the path towards quitting. Thirdly, while these apps have a social component, it is unstructured and therefore ineffective.
This is where we come in. Signal has infused the solutions to these problems into a dual product system, a casing and an app.
The overarching philosophy of Signal is structured around EAST, a psychological framework with the ideology that behavior change should always require minimum effort from the user.
The proprietary Signal casing connects to a smartphone via Bluetooth 5.0. This allows for a seamless user experience and a roadmap-centric quitting application.
The casing uses a comfortably positioned slider that is naturally pushed by the user to use the Juul. A spring returns the slider back to its mean position after every puff. Due to its mechanical nature, this solution is not only cost-effective but also outside the purview of any current patents.
The casing also features an OLED screen where data such as weekly goals, daily consumption, along with a panic button for handling cravings will be shown, making our intervention timely.
When the user first logs into the app, they will be presented with a series of questions based upon number 1, the cage test to identify whether the user is addicted to vaping. Number 2, the Fagerstorm test to determine the extent of the user's addiction. Number 3, motivational interviewing to determine the motivation level of the user. And finally, situations or factors which cause the user to vape, for instance, exam week.
The user will only be asked 15 questions, making it easy for the user to provide this information.
Along with the user's responses, the casing will monitor the vaping habits for a week before sending the data back to the app. The data from the casing and the app will be used to formulate a roadmap to achieve 0 puffs at the end of a time duration chosen by the user. However, this roadmap is not set in stone. Similar to how Google Maps tracks live traffic and adjusts the route, Signal's roadmap also evolved with the user.
After formulation of the roadmap, users are taken to the home screen where they can see their daily goal and usage statistics. They can also access nearby doctors, helpline numbers, and general information through Amica, a friendly chatbot.
The Signal app also offers a unique social component to help the user achieve their goals through a group therapy-like technique which is inspired by Alcoholics Anonymous. A volunteer trained in active listening will conduct weekly online group sessions in which the user will share their progress, challenges, and conduct activities.
Signal will also feature a list of potential triggers with strategies on how to deal with them. The users can select their major triggers and discuss their plans to deal with them with their listener. The listener's job is to only listen and affirm and not actually give advice.
When experiencing withdrawal symptoms or cravings, users will be just one button away from getting help. The user would immediately be shown pre-recorded videos, letters or audios made by them or someone close to them. Our app will also have a series of motivational videos and calming techniques for the user experiencing withdrawal symptoms or cravings.
To make the most of our intervention and positively impact the 3 million plus potential users, the Signal team has devised the following 3-phase strategy.
Phase 0, the testing phase. After development of the app and the casing is complete, we will partner with schools for awareness and testing programs with teenagers. The objective is to test and improve our intervention while also incentivizing teenagers to use it. This will propagate the awareness of our product.
Phase 1, growing our user base. In this phase, our objective is to scale our web presence and grow a healthy user base of 3,500 users. We will launch our website to sell our casing directly to the consumer at $50 with a 100% margin. This phase will require aggressive online marketing. Our marketing strategy will include collaborating with influencers who have a large teenage audience, online banners, interstitials, and video ads on social media targeting teenagers and parents. and search engine optimization through Google Ads and by boosting our link equity.
Signal will not expand to retail channels as our product requires proper demonstration, which is best accomplished online.
Phase 2. Expanding revenue streams. While we continue the operations mentioned in Phase 1, we will transition from a business solely dependent on sales of our product to one profiting from the usage of it. Our revenue streams will include affiliate marketing and lead generation, affiliate links to de-stressing games, exercise apps, and videos to help the user will be an income source through our app. Monetizing app data. With the user's consent, we can license the anonymous app data to be used for academic and medical research. We can also use this data to gain valuable insights, to improve our service and sell these insights to health institutions and businesses. A possible consumer for this data is a tobacco-related disease research program, which is funded by the University of California.
We will also partner with healthcare institutions to use our de-addiction platform for teens they insure. This platform is less expensive than behavioral counseling and removes accessibility barriers that such counseling might have had.
E-cigarette trackers are currently only sold by e-cigarette companies themselves and are integrated into the e-cigarette. For example, the Juul C1 comes with a built-in tracker to show the user vaping statistics. However, it does not focus on de-addiction and it is illegal to be marketed to or brought by teens.
Behavioral counseling is also more expensive at $70 plus per session. Some programs also last 40 plus sessions. This is compared with the one-time purchase of $50 to use Signal. Counseling is also more difficult to access.
Current cessation apps with strategies to quit vaping have millions of downloads, indicating that a number of people are looking for assistance in quitting, but low user engagement indicates that these apps are easy to ignore and therefore ineffective.
Signal aims to fill the market gap of providing an effective and accessible program to quit juuling.
We will require an investment of $250,000 over the 3 phases to fund our venture. $20,000, which is required for prototyping, website and app development, patent fees, and a testing program, will be bootstrapped by the Signal team. With the finished product and market insights in hand, we will approach social impact VCs, public health institutions, and organizations like the TRDRP to fund the remaining $230,000 for manufacturing, marketing, and personnel costs.
With this initial investment, we aim to become profitable in our 3rd year as we start monetizing our app and reach a user base of 7,000 to 9,000 users.
We created Signal to solve a crisis we witnessed firsthand. Motivated by our peers, we built a de-addiction framework that we feel can play a pivotal role in the fight against juul dependency, and with your help, positively impact millions of teenagers around the world.
Starting from 2014, there had been a steep increase in the use of e-cigarettes. Most of the population using e-cigarettes are people that switched to e-cigarettes from normal cigarettes for the hope of better health and to quit smoking. As the statistics above show, about 9% of the US adult citizen regularly vape, and more shockingly, about 27.5% of the US high school student population use vape products. Our company's goal is to effectively provide smokers with more support to quit smoking and to possibly eliminate underage vaping. We acknowledge the harmful chemicals such as nicotine that is emitted by smokers. Chemicals from e-cigarettes not only threats the smoker, but it also causes public health problems such as to the bystanders. So, our team decided to face this problem by using ISO 15693 RFID tags in our products. This chip, when detected by an RFID reader, will alert our users, which will encourage them to stop smoking immediately. To add on, unlike GPS sensors, RFID chips do not collect data from our users, such as location data, thus it does not cause any problems related to privacy. Now, away from public health problems, our company focuses on providing our customers with maximum aid to help them quit vaping. The no-code application that we developed by using Billfire provides our users with all necessary personal device information, such as expected wick date and expected refill date of vape juice. These expected data provided by our app is necessary as it informs our users with the usage of their vape. Our application uses a unique login procedure that requires age verification, which is supported by Jumio, one of the most reliable age verification utility, which will eliminate underage vaping. To carry on, our users meet the expected date, they will receive a point under our accumulative point system. These points will benefit our users as they can use their points to receive additional discount with their purchases. This is critical as we thought that making the purchase less burdensome, our users will feel less stressed out about the payment, thus encouraging our users to quit smoking much faster and easier.
So what is our product? What is Kajul? Kajul is an e-cigarette that is based on the product Juul, but we integrated technology and our ideas into the product so that we can make it better. We aim to reduce waste, and that was our number one consideration while we were making this prototype. So we decided to focus on these 3 points, which are reusability, durability, and easy maintenance.
About reusability, the pods that we see in the e-cigarettes these days are one-time use only, and this is a total waste. This is the number one contributor to the massive amounts of trash that comes from e-cigarettes just because the plastic pods are not recyclable. The chemical substances that stick to the plastic pods are very detrimental to the environment. So our team decided that we should make the pods refillable instead. Now, another major problem with the e-cigarettes in the status quo is that the parts used in the device have different lifespans. A battery has an average to 2 to 3 months of lifespan, and the coil only lasts about 2 to 3 weeks. And yet, they cannot be separated because it is made in one whole chunk. So what we decided to do is to take it apart and make it separable. By making the coil separable and the battery separable, we are going to make the customer able to replace the individual parts whenever it dysfunctions or malfunctions. Our team also contemplated on what is it that makes these e-cigarettes also short-lived. A lot of the coils that are used in e-cigarettes nowadays use cotton and wicks to control juice flow and pressure. This proved very detrimental to the lifespan of the coil because the cotton was not so long-lasting and very susceptible to burning. So instead, we got rid of the cotton and got rid of the wick. We used ceramic coils instead. Basically, what this does is that this type of coil does not require cotton or wick to heat the juice, and it forms a protective barrier surrounding the coil and protects it from oxidation and rusting, making it more durable. Our team also looked to replace the material of the pods. We will use PPS, a very heat-resistant plastic, to reinforce the pods because now they are refillable and meant for longer use. Other than the hardware, our team also looked into the chemicals that consist the juice. Caramel sticking is a very huge issue and a bother to get rid of. So our team decided to get rid of this problem by decreasing the levels of glycerol that is contained in the juice. Now this won't do much harm to the product itself because glycerol normally contributes to prevent leakage, which we already solved with by reinforcing the materials that we use in the plastic pods.
So we renovated design and made the product more durable and reusable. But what use is it if the product cannot be cleaned or maintained regularly? And that is why our team decided to go user-friendly. The separable parts that we explained above allow the user to easily disassemble the product and reassemble it with ease, allowing the user to get into the places that normally would take a lot of effort to clean and to maintain. If this is still not enough, we are willing to provide customer service that will aid for the maintenance of the product so that we can ensure that the product maintains high quality throughout its use.
Unlike many other companies in the industry, Ikako's product is distinctive in many ways. First, we are going to present the competitive analysis and then talk about the Ikako Care services, which is quite unique service of our company. This is a competitive analysis. These companies provide cylindrical devices or use disposable pod system, which is quite inefficient. We developed a USB-type vaping device that is compact and easy to charge. Also, our product uses ceramic cooling system, which does not require a wick in order to vaporize the juice. By reducing the waste, we can also appeal to eco-friendly aspect of our product. Most importantly, our team's product is economical. The estimated price of our vapor and the pods is at $35 to $45 and about $4 per pod refill. The initial cost put into the device itself might seem burdensome, but considering the fact that each pod contains equal amounts of liquid, the user can save up $1 per pod compared to the other companies. Lastly, Kajul enables the user to refill the tank numerable times.
Moving on to introducing our customer service, Ikaku Care is the most important factor among the competitors. Based on information from the ID system, Ikaku would be able to analyze where the device is frequently used or charged. So installing centers nearby or shipping to the certain places to provide services would eliminate the need for customers to replace on their own. Moreover, we will contract with the companies that provide shipping services. After replacing or repairing devices, equipment need to be sent back to the customers. So engaging with the shipping services companies will facilitate our business. Ikaku business would best fit in the e-cigarette industry, where the entry barrier is relatively low. As we have these certain and specific competitive advantages, this will count as a huge benefit. Overall, Kajul's convenience of charging and replacing, customer service, and compact design will make our business most successful.
%60 of people that vape want to quit but don't know where to start. Recently, there has been an outbreak of severe vaping-related lung illness. The number of people starting to vape is increasing on a daily basis, and many of these people do not know the long-term effects of vaping. Through our cross-platform mobile application MediQuit, we strive to help the users quit their addiction to vaping through multiple functionalities, including seeking professional help, therapies, and trigger prevention.
Our application utilizes several distinct color themes that provide benefit to the user in terms of user attentiveness and calamity. These color schemes are backed up by several esteemed sources and psychologists such as the Huffington Post, iFly Science, as well as Andrew Elliott, a professor of psychology at the University of Rochester, and numerous other sources. Furthermore, our application is fragmented out such that the process and way to navigate the application is very intuitive and comprehensive. This allows the user to almost never have to leave the application in order to accomplish most of the activities that we provide.
In the anger therapy, there are 3 activities that help the user introspect on why they got angry and how they can prevent this from happening in the future. We achieve this by playing soothing music in the background to clear all the negative thoughts in the user's mind and induce a feeling of calmness. Lastly, we help the user visualize their anger through drawing, which helps the user look at something tangible that they can better face compared to something psychological.
MediQuit stress therapy has 3 unique aspects to it, the first of which is music. A study conducted by a talent psychologist concludes that lo-fi beats, the music in an app, is known to induce both feelings of relaxation as well as arousal, which is brain stimulation. Secondly is the exercise. A study conducted by the ADAA concludes that physical activity and exercise produce endorphins. Endorphins are chemicals in the brain that act as natural painkillers and inherently reduce levels of stress. Third and final aspect is the cooking. A study done by Tamlin Connors, a professor of psychology at the University of Otago, New Zealand, concludes that creativity is associated with emotional and brain function, which are directly related to the chemicals that are in the brain responsible for stress levels.
The depression therapy consists of 3 different activities. First of all, biking helps users release mind-boosting chemicals that help them feel refreshed. Biking is suggested, and a biking route near the user's current location is also suggested within the app. Next up, the user can read a comic strip. Research shows the many benefits of laughter, which is promoted within our app. Finally, light video games can also help with the user's mood. These games are intended to be easy because they can help raise the user's self-esteem. Another great feature of MediQuit is providing users with rehabilitation programs that are located near the user's current location. This is done so that if they're dealing with severe situations which require expert advice, they can easily contact and navigate to that place. This way, rehab programs are encouraged because they've been proven to be effective in severe situations.
MediQuit portrays shock therapy in the form of a carousel. What we do is we have shocking facts about vaping constantly rotating throughout the screen of the application. And the purpose here is to allow users to really tap into their consciousness, but not only what they're doing to their own body, although this is an integral part of shock therapy, but also what they're doing to others around them.
We definitely plan on iterating our app in the future as we continue to build a user base. One idea we have on making MediQuit better is adding an emotional support chatbot. Our idea with this is to cater to the current experience the user is going through and combat it in an effective way. The chatbot can also be a way for the user to open up about what they're going through without having to feel like they're being judged. We plan on adding features the users want because they're the ones actually going through the withdrawal process. We plan on taking their feedback and implementing more therapy.
Most services currently on the market are very similar in terms of helping their user with their nicotine addiction. Most, if not all of the apps tackle this issue in almost the same way, which is by using the concept of drills and awards to motivate users from smoking. Even though this sounds and has been even proven to be effective for several cases, it causes many side effects that just make the situation worse. For example, if someone tries to win those awards by completing the drills but is unable to win those awards, that person can soon give up from trying to win them. If they're unable to achieve their goal, it could result in harming their self-esteem and slowly ruining their motivation to end their addiction to nicotine. The process of going through these drills, completing these challenges to earn rewards, and just trying to control yourself from vaping can be painful, which is hard for a lot of users. Research shows that most teens' main cause to smoke is their mental health issue, whether suffering with anger, depression, or stress. Taking this into consideration, Mediquit takes an entirely different approach, using therapies that help the user's mood and stop them from vaping.
We plan to roll out Mediquit on the Google Play Store and Apple App Store. Thereafter, both of these bundles will be reviewed by their respective staff, and these approvals usually take about 7 to 8 days. Thereafter, we can choose whether we want to roll this out simply to internal testers, which is just for beta testing, or we want to full release it to everyone on the market.
The smoking cessation market is valued at almost $5 billion and is still growing. The smoking cessation market has three main sectors: nicotine replacement therapies, drug therapies, and the e-cigarette vaping sector. The sector we're mainly targeting is the e-cigarette and vaping sector. The demographic we're targeting is those that vape, but more specifically, teenagers that try to use vaping as a stress reliever.
Our application sees three different revenue models moving forward. The first is a freemium model. This means we'll still have a free version, but also a premium model for users who want upgraded features. With this freemium model, since this is an app that serves public interest of health, we want to keep the price range relatively low, anywhere between 99 cents and $2.99, depending on how many features we see ourselves adding moving forward. Secondly, we want to have in-app advertisements. In-app advertisements generally bring in revenue between 10 cents and $10 depending on the video length, but we want to keep it anywhere between $1 and $3, so much as to keep the business profitable and sustainable, but also not to take up too much of our users' time. Finally, we want to also have promotional partnerships. There are several organizations out there such as the American Lung Association, Enjoy, and many more who can provide publicity for our Mediquit. The top 200 applications on the Apple App Store and Google Play Store make anywhere between $80,000 and $90,000 on a daily basis. And the more publicity we get from organizations such as these, the closer we move to these leaderboards and bring in revenue in a similar ballpark.
We plan to dedicate most of our funding towards the app development and adding premium features. Our app is dependent on the services provided by Firebase, a hosting service by Google. Our required configuration needed to release the app for thorough beta testing and then public use will cost us around $77 per month. For the background music that is used in the app, around $25 per month will be required for the subscription. App management will also be a small proportion of the funding, since it costs a one-time fee of $25 to release the app on Google Play Store, while $99 per year on the Apple App Store. We want to measure how satisfied our customers are to know if our service is sufficient, if we need to add more features, or in general, ensure that Mediquit is providing the value it is intended. We have three different methods through which we can accomplish this: Google Play Console, Apple App Store Connect, and Firebase Analytics. With these three great tools integrated with our app, we can view how many users we have, from which countries they are, what our retention rates are, what parts of the app they aren't using, and how long an average session is, and many more stats vital to knowing how we should go about improving Mediquit.
Hi everybody, so after a lot of brainstorming we decided to focus on smoke-free world because we feel smoking is something that's not considered as harmful as it should be.
Which is why a shocking number of adults in the US are e-cigarette users, and a Harvard study shows that the percentage of e-cigarette users amongst high school seniors increased from 27% to 38% in just a year.
We think that this increase is because of this general misconception that e-cigarettes aren't as harmful as cigarettes because of the lack of tar. However, this isn't actually true since they do contain nicotine as well as the same carcinogenics that are present in cigarettes. some of the side effects of increased and constant exposure to these carcinogens and nicotine include increased risk of cataracts and lung diseases, as well as strokes and stunted brain development.
And although some people have realized the side effects of using nicotine, many attempts have been made to curtail this problem. Those attempts have been proven ineffective because they don't address all aspects of the addiction. Now we'll go on to explain a few of these attempts and explain why they have failed.
General solutions to reduce nicotine addiction include nicotine therapy, exercising, getting rid of vaping products, practicing quitting, and so on. These methods solely depend on the smoker's will and determination, as there is no external management and help. Nicotine therapy includes over-the-counter nicotine patches, prescription nicotine in nasal spray, and medications such as bupropion and varenicline. Contrary to popular opinion, the success rate of using NRT, especially nicotine patches, is less than 7%, since it keeps you physically addicted and, more importantly, fails to address the psychological aspect of smoking. In addition, there are some more innovative solutions available in the market, however, they fail to fully address the problem. Notable inventions include Bluetooth e-cigarette device proposed by Juul, patented anti-smoking device which dispenses regular e-cigarettes after set time intervals, patented ashtray with a smoke detector installed in it, and so on.
These inventions fail to address the psychological aspects of smoking or introduce too much psychological stress, causing the user distress and forcing them to smoke more. In addition, they display technical and conceptual flaws, such as the lack of understanding of time. Nicotine, on the other hand, strives to achieve all these aspects. The time interval for 30 minutes on time every 4 hours allows users who are unable to go cold turkey to quit in an efficient manner. Moreover, the app makes predictions based on the e-cigarettes data and provides best plans to quit as well as keeping track of their progress. More importantly, the app deals with the psychological aspect of smoking by providing encouraging messages, therapy videos, mindfulness sessions, and contact details for therapists in their vicinity. In order to introduce the time interval, the e-cigarette is fitted with a STM Bluetooth embedded microcontroller and a relay switch. The microcontroller generates a square wave that is fed into the relay switch to control the current flow. For the 4 hours off time, the microcontroller outputs a low signal, while for the 30 minutes on time, it outputs a high signal. The Bluetooth aspect of the microcontroller allows short-range communication with the product app. The app is specifically designed to aid the user in their journey. The algorithm generates best plans to quit based on the data collected by the microcontroller and the survey filled by the user. It allows them to monitor their progress as well as manage their cravings as best as possible, using different methods such as mindfulness sessions and therapy videos. The app will also provide them with contact details to specialized therapists in their vicinity.
Our product Nicotine is targeted towards the drug addiction treatment market, specifically falling under the nicotine addiction niche. The easy availability of e-cigarettes, their legalization for those over the age of 18 in most states, and social acceptance of vaping contributes to the market share. Moreover, the constant exposure to nicotine and increasing cases of addiction amongst all ages is assisting market growth. The market size of substance abuse treatment in 2018 was $16.47 billion, which is projected to grow to $31.17 billion by 2027. Although it is easy to get hooked onto a drug, it is difficult to overcome that addiction. Rehab treatments in centers are quite costly, ranging from $1,000 to $60,000 depending on the treatment, and offers selective insurance. Due to this, only 11% of substance abusers actually receive treatment. However, Nicotine aims to achieve this goal in a relatively cheaper way, so it is easily accessible to all. Nicotine's core appealing factor is its relative affordability for an average young adult or adult whose annual income is around $28,000. The first step to establishing our company will be applying for research and development grants, which include the HHS NIH1 grant, the purpose of which is to support development of models and innovative research to improve substance use prevention. This will grant us up to $500,000. Additionally, we will apply for the Small Business and Innovation Research Grant. The money acquired will be used to conduct market research, large-scale surveys, and assess market potential, followed by prototyping and testing. Once sure of our product's success, we will shift our focus to marketing. Our product will mainly be marketed through social media and website, Google, and TV advertisements. Billboards will also be put up when the product is ready to be launched. For effective marketing, we will experiment with various social media platforms and evaluate responses so we can invest in popular channels. Following this will be various stages that will pick the buyer's interest. The first phase is the attract phase, which will attract potential customers' attention towards our product. Then comes the engage phase, in which they will download articles from our website or watch webinars, which will educate them and further convince them to buy our product. Last up is the delight phase, in which the buyer will buy our product. We will start our business by registering in the state of New York, and as our business expands and grows, we will apply for registration as a chain store, fulfilling all legal and technical fees. To get our business covered by insurances, we will take help from the National Federation of Independent Businesses to evaluate risks and make sure that our business is insured in every aspect. Getting insurance will help minimize financial losses, cover for advertising liability, lawsuits, and settlements, as well as promoting business continuity amongst many other advantages. This will save healthcare insurance companies from approximately $170 billion, which is otherwise spent on direct medical care facilities for smokers in the US. Once our business is registered and insured, we will focus on opening our first shop.
Hello to our audience, our judges, and hopefully some possible investors. Our names are Mohit Trivedi and Sujay Boyapalli, and we are the founders of No More E-Waste. Today, we are going to present to you a highly profitable business innovation, which will significantly reduce the number of incorrectly disposed e-cigarette pods, while giving consumers the freedom to continue using e-cigarettes without harming the environment. It's seemingly difficult to stop people from damaging their lungs, but we can absolutely stop them from damaging our environment. Today, we are going to break down our offering to you in terms of a few key areas.
Let's look at our product. No More E-Waste is focused on producing a fully biodegradable e-cigarette cartridge called BioBuds, for obvious marketing reasons. Not only is the product capable of safely decomposing in mere months and sustaining the high temperature of the e-cigarette coil when being used, but it also comes packaged alongside an easily accessible disposal system that encourages recycling of e-cigarette parts through a reward system. NMW's disposal system consists of a hazardous materials safe shipping box pre-packaged alongside the BioBuds, which allows customers to properly dispose of their empty pods, even if they were not produced by No More E-Waste. Customers can join a point system that rewards them with a discount on their next purchase of pods after they recycled a certain number of pods. This incentivizes consumers to make use of No More E-Waste disposal system that facilitates recycling rather than littering. Well, two questions may come to your mind here. First of all, what's the purpose of a biodegradable cartridge? According to the American Journal of Public Health, over 99 billion pounds of e-waste are discarded annually, most of which stems from the improper disposal of e-cigarettes, which cost billions of dollars annually to clean up and pose a grave long-term environmental threat because of their material composition. Some e-cigarettes contain enough toxic chemicals to qualify as hazardous waste. When e-cigarette pods are littered or improperly discarded, they can leach environmentally destructive plastic into the local environment and urban landscape, affecting humans and other organisms. By using biodegradable plastic to replace the conventional synthetic plastic e-cigarette pods, the time it takes for the pod to break down is significantly shortened to approximately 3 to 6 months compared to the decomposing time of hundreds of years for normal plastics. And why even spend so much money on creating a biodegradable e-cigarette pod if people can simply recycle them? The answer is simply human nature. According to Rubicon in 2018, the national recycling rate in the United States was approximately 34.5%. Now tell me, how many e-cigarette buds and cigarette pods have you seen lying around? We can assume that this number dropped for smokers who carelessly dispose of their pods, hence the creation of a biodegradable pod.
Moving on from the positive impact No More E-Waste is focused on creating, let's look at how BioBuds works. We did not seek to create a new e-cigarette. Rather, we wanted to create pods that can be used with the most popular e-cigarette brands in order to curb the waste that is already being created with popular products. We used a biodegradable plastic polymer to create the pod itself. The e-cigarette pods are manufactured from a biodegradable plastic polymer known as PHA, or polyhydroxyalkanoate. It is created through a microbial fermentation process using plant-based oils and sugar. A blend of two polymers, polyhydroxylbutyrate, PHB, and polylactic acid, PLA, would allow for the improvement of thermal and mechanical properties of the plastic, and therefore the e-cigarette pod. In terms of production, we will begin by 3D printing the model in order to gain the most precise prototype of the biodegradable pod that we can. Once the design is refined and finalized, we will move to injection molding so that the biodegradable pods can be produced in high volumes in order to sell to e-cigarette manufacturers. Furthermore, we will purchase the machinery to carry out the manufacturing. Although the expenses will place us at a loss for a few years, the machines will eventually pay for themselves as we sell to more e-cigarette manufacturers. So we have the product, we have the impact, and how it's going to work. Let's look into taking this to market and making some money. No More E-Waste is going to be structured as a B2B model. This allows us to focus on the research, development, and production of the biodegradable pods and reducing environmental waste of existing e-cigarettes rather than creating a new e-cigarette entirely. By implementing a B2B business model, No More E-Waste can ensure that we are receiving steady profits as we will supply larger existing e-cigarette manufacturers, while also ensuring that the e-liquid in the pods is safe and compatible to e-cigarette companies. These companies primarily include Juul, as they captured 42% of the e-cigarette market in 2020, and Vuse, holding 36% of the market share.
In order to determine whether No More E-Waste can generate profit, we have to examine the value and potential of the e-cigarette market. The U.S. market for e-cigarettes is projected to reach $16.5 billion by 2024, while the global market is expected to hit a staggering $53 billion. Americans spend an ever-increasing estimate of $7.5 billion per year on e-cigarette and vaping devices and cartridges. And if NMW's pods are able to make up e-cigarettes that secure 5% of the American market, we have the potential to bring in about $375 million per year based only off of 2020 industry sales. It's also important to consider that Juul made up over 40% of the vaping industry, meaning that even securing 10% of Juul's e-cigarettes with NMW's pods would result in about $300 million in yearly revenue. Furthermore, with more brands looking to focus on sustainability in all industries such as technology, fashion, food, and retail, No More E-Waste is confident that e-cigarette companies will partner with us in order to boost their own sustainability and social impact images. Now, we are fully aware that this is an extremely costly measure. This is precisely why we have an extensive amount of funding avenues and are not expecting profits for at least a few years into production and operation. Our primary costs will fall into research, development, and production. These costs are all subject to increase with complexity, amount, and large-scale production.
No More E-Waste will initially gather funding through a multitude of ways, including crowdfunding, government grants, private organization awards, seed capital through investors, and university partnerships. With these funds, we'll start preliminary research and sample production to help identify any manufacturing and design flaws, gain FDA approval, obtain a patent, gain the funds needed to validate safety, and finally enter production. Furthermore, No More E-Waste is currently in the process of meeting with university research departments for partnerships in order to help with research, development, funding, and oversight.
Now, let's talk about competition. There are no other biodegradable e-cigarette products on the market. However, Green Smart Living and Biddy Vapor have a recycling and rewards program similar to NMW. These competitors focus on recycling solely their own product, but No More E-Waste focuses on recycling and reusing all e-cigarette products regardless of the brand. NMW beats its competitors with shorter decomposition time, zero use of harmful synthetic plastics, a greater focus on environmental friendliness, and an increased convenience in terms of discarding the products. Currently, No More E-Waste is focused on getting partnerships with universities and gaining seed capital in order to refine our design, build a functioning prototype, and have a tangible product to pitch to e-cigarette companies. Through applying for grants and pitching to investors, we are hoping to obtain the funds necessary to carry out our plans to make a biodegradable e-cigarette pod that genuinely improves our environment. We appreciate your time and commitment to listen to our clear-cut solution to a solvable problem. No More E-Waste biodegradable pods have a deliverable and visible impact on reducing pollution caused by e-waste. Help us eliminate e-cig waste one pod at a time.